Hi everyone. Um, some of you asked me to upload a video and just give my opinion and feedback as to how to survive a coronavirus crisis that we're going through. Some of you asked me to do a live stream, and I'm considering a live stream sometime next week. I don't know for sure. It depends on my work schedule because apparently we have, in my job, we have a lot of mandatory overtime coming up. I mean, a lot. So, as I told you all, I work with an organization that is considered an essential service by government Wolf. So, because of what's going on, the demand with people out of work that need goods and so forth, mandatory overtime has gone up a lot. I don't know when my work schedule will return to normal, and I'm going to do as much overtime as I can. I'm not going to burn myself out either because I need to be here to handle things, and I'm helping the community out with what's going on with this coronavirus outbreak. Of course, I'm staying safe, but I'm also helping out. My church is still open, handing out goods and such, and they're staying safe. So doing a lot of stuff around here to keep everybody's spirits up. Anyway, you guys had lots of questions when you said you had questions ranging from unemployment to savings, stuff, a lot of things. All right. Unemployment. You can apply for unemployment benefits if you got laid off through no fault of your own. Now, Trump was rolling out a coronavirus stimulus aid package. And in that package, it talks about how they're going to increase unemployment benefits, and they're going to lift some of the conditions like the 7-day waiting period that's normally in the state of normally the state of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, depends on what state you're in. And Governor Wolf is the governor of Pennsylvania. Governor Cuomo, Governor Wolf. I'm going to go back up for a minute. Governor Wolf is the governor of Pennsylvania. He's the one that decides what businesses is considered essential, what's considered non-essential. And his list of businesses that are considered essential are pretty similar to Governor Cuomo of New York. And the governor of Maryland as well, Vermont, New Hampshire, you name it. At least 22 states, more, I believe there's more, have these lists. And what's designated as non-essential business and essential business comes from Trump. So anyway, let me go back to the thing about unemployment. Trump rolled out a coronavirus stimulus package that includes unemployment to extend the benefits, to lift the 7-day waiting period, and to lift some restrictions. One other restriction that they're going to lift is that you have to seek work every week, to maintain benefits. But it's not like that. It's not going to be like that permanently. It's like that temporarily. And they're extending the benefits only in another certain amount of months, maybe a couple of months at best. I think until another 8 weeks, they're probably going to add on until your existing benefits. And then they're going to reevaluate the situation at that time. They also plan on sending each family member, depends on your income. So if you make $75,000 or less, they could send a family of 4 up to $3,000. And I don't know if it's possibly more for a family of 5 that's making low income or whatnot. It could be. They plan on doing this payment in April, hopefully in May as well. So you could apply for unemployment. So that's something to look into. Okay? You could apply for unemployment. You could also look into getting into like a warehouse job of some sort. There are various warehouses, not a whole lot, but warehouses that, there's warehouses that are hiring for truck drivers or package handlers or shipping, receiving, stuff like that, or picking their items. So you can look into UPS, you can look into FedEx, Johnson and Johnson. I saw an ad about Hershey's hiring, and Hershey's not an essential company, but they're hiring. I guess they make other goods that are designated as essential, so they're hiring for that. You could check out Career Builder. I realize that there's, according to Verizon and AT&T, there's a lot of online traffic. So your internet may be a little slow, maybe not be. Mine's, fortunately, is not that bad. It's pretty good. The cable company I have out here is doing everything they can to keep the service going. So it's not too bad. Verizon is not too bad either. I mean, there's some slow patches here and there, but it's not that bad. I have Verizon Wireless, and I have another cable company for my home and my home phone and my home internet. If you have, another thing you might want to consider is establishing a savings account if you could afford it. I mean, even if you put $1,000 in there, you save that for a rainy day. For those of you that still have a job, you could have a credit card. Some family members have 3 or 4. Some of you might disagree with this, but I don't necessarily disagree with it when you are in a very bad spot and you need those monies. You use a credit card for small purchases, nothing large, and then you pay it off for those of you that still have a job. For those of you that don't have a job and you have credit cards and you had to turn to it in order to buy food and necessities and such, you could contact your credit card companies to see if they have an extension. Now, I don't know if y'all are aware, but banks like lenders, mortgage holders, car loans, credit card companies and such are aware of what's going on. So they put measures in place like deferments or extensions on any debt that you might have. So you might look into calling them to see if they can extend your credit card payment a couple of months or a few months, or your mortgage payment. Some banks are with Fannie Mae, that are housed by them, loans that are with Fannie Mae. I forgot what the other one's called, but anyway, I think it's through HUD. Anyway, they're extending mortgage payments 3 or 4 months. They're adding those notes to the end of the loan. Some are doing it indefinitely. Not forever, just for a certain period of time. It just depends on the bank. Credit cards are doing the same thing. Verizon, Wireless, AT&T are rolling out options to extend your payments as well. What else? Oh, so like if you're in a situation where you lost your job, you should contact your creditors right away. Don't wait on that. See what options they have available for you. What else can I tell you? As far as the toilet paper issue is concerned, I don't know why people feel they need toilet paper, because it's not going to protect them from this virus. You can look at options as far as toilet paper is concerned. That was my security system, sorry. Does that sound every now and then when it's going through an update? That doesn't happen so often, that sound. But going back to what I'm saying, you can use alternatives for toilet paper. Now, I know it might be rough or it might be an adjustment, but you can use paper towels. You can use baby wipes. You can, if you have a lot of towels in your house, small hand towels, you can use that. Just throw it in the washer and wash it and reuse it again. As far as masks are concerned, okay, now they're saying that those hospital masks really don't work that much. You're not going to get a hold of a mask anywhere where you're at. So you can do things like, if you have bandanas, you can use that as a mask when you're going out and about. If you have a t-shirt, make sure it's sanitized and washed and such. You can cut strips of it and make a mask like that. You can also take a bra cup, believe it or not. And if you have a sewing machine or thread and needle, you can make a mask out of one single bra cup. That's stronger than a regular mask. Believe it or not, it is. It's stronger and more effective. As far as hand sanitizer goes, a lot of people don't realize that distilled white vinegar or apple cider vinegar has sanitizing properties. So it can actually kill bacteria and pathogen more effectively than alcohol can. Some of you might disagree. That's up to you. You're not going to get a hold of rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer. So why not just go with what the stores still have in stock, which is vinegar and apple cider vinegar, and use that as a hand sanitizer in the meantime. Those of you that are worried about hand soap, believe it or not, dish detergent also kills bacteria, has the same ingredients as hand soap does. So you can use that to wash your hands as well. If you have dish detergent, like you can stock up on that, which is what I'm actually going to do. You can stock up on dish detergent as well for hand soap. If you're worried about having you can use that as a perfect option for hand soap. As for toilet paper is concerned, I believe Amazon is still shipping out toilet paper. It's just delayed like a month because I ordered over 100 rolls. I ordered a lot of rolls of toilet paper, and my delivery is due to come in sometime beginning of April to beginning of May. I'm hoping it's sooner. But I have I try to keep a small stash on hand. If you have baby wipes, don't flush them down your toilet. Okay, it could clog up your toilet. Just dispose of them. That's all. Even if it says flushable, just don't flush it. Don't take that chance. Okay. I know a lot of you are like, you don't know how you're gonna get rent paid. You don't know how you're gonna get food on the table. You don't know how you're going to come up with the money to pay your mortgage. Like I said, contact your lender. As for rent, you might want to contact your landlord and see if there's something that they can do as far as extending your rent. Now keep in mind, they're a business. They got to get paid because they own a mortgage. That mortgage is the building, and they get paid. They pay the mortgage by the rent that they charge you for the apartment that you're living in. Or if you are living in a property that's that has an owner, and it's a house, they need the rent too. So you can talk to them about extending your rent a month or two, or about working out some kind of a payment plan. Because this crisis is affecting everybody, and it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just something that unfortunately happened. And as I told you in my prior video, it was prophesied in the Bible. It's not God's fault, but it was prophesied that pestilences will happen, and there's going to be trials and tribulation. I'm not saying we're in a tribulation. I'm saying there's going to be trials and tribulation. It's going to be sorrowing times. And this is one of them. And I just have a feeling that we're going to be facing other sorrows. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. It's just an opinion that I have. Do I hope that doesn't happen? Oh, absolutely. I hope this doesn't happen again. But you never know what's on the horizon, okay? Some of you asked questions about what if you have a sick family member? Well, one of the things that they have rolled out in the stimulus package I was telling you about is extending sick leave to, I think it's right now, it's for certain companies that are mid-size and small size. I think there are some large companies in there. Don't quote me on that. To add maybe another, 2 or 3 weeks. That's what I saw. So you could look into your human resources about that to see if there's any type of leave you can take to care for that family member. If you are feeling sick and you have some symptoms of coronavirus, you might want to self-quarantine yourself for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. This is my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you based on what I researched. Okay? I researched the CDC. I researched CBS News. I researched information I got off of Fox News. I researched various sources, not just only them. But you might want to make sure that, like I said, you talk to your employer, see if they have any type of leave that you can take while you recover from this, because hopefully you just got mild symptoms. If you have severe symptoms, you might want to contact your doctor, go to the ER. Just be prepared that a lot of things are limited, I had this weird dream last night that Amazon, there was a lot of companies, a variety of companies that were producing, they were producing respirators and ventilators, I guess, to filter out the air, and respirators. The respirators were blue and white, and they were producing a lot of them. These companies were producing a lot of them, and they were sending them out to where the federal government told them where to send it. So they were sending them out. There was shortages everywhere of these these respirators and ventilators, and they were sending them out to the most hit areas that the federal government told them to send it. That's where they were sending it first, even though there were shortages everywhere. And I'm not trying to fearmonger you. I'm just throwing that out there. I just believe that was either due to this virus getting worse or another one that's coming right after it. And I'm not wishing this at all, okay? I'm just telling you the dream I had, and apparently other Christians are having too. And the Bible says the Lord's going to pour out his spirit on all flesh. So apparently not just Christians having this dream, people are having it in general. Even those that are not believers are having this dream as well. So look, just the bottom line, just stay safe and stay grounded in the Most High, all right? Keep looking at your news. Just use discernment to see which source is telling you the truth, which is not. I'm not saying CBS and Fox News are a lie or saints. Some of the stuff they roll out is true. I don't trust CNN. I don't trust anybody, but CNN has always been known to put out fake news. MSNBC News can be another good source. Anyway, I wanted to add one more thing regarding the stimulus package. If you have student loans, they have a measure in place for that. Do I think they could do more? Oh, yes. I think they should cancel student loans altogether. Okay, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay? I know you should not have gotten student loans, those of you that kept getting it, but sometimes, you want to get an education, you want to get a better job, and you don't have the money to do it, so you turn to them to get your education in hopes you could pay the student loan in time, but then things happen. You get laid off, you lose your job, you don't make enough money, therefore you can't afford to pay all the student loans that you took out. Okay, so I can't blame a student entirely, because a lot of students that took student loans went in it wholeheartedly that they want to pay this debt off, and they went in with good intentions. Okay, just saying. But they're suspending student loan interest payment for up to 60 months. Okay. With your student loan lender, you can look into options like forbearance, but forbearance interest accrues, but since it's suspended for 60 months, or I'm sorry, not 60 months, 60 days, that should help a little bit. They're trying to say that, and they're also trying to put in a measure to forgive $10,000 per person in the stimulus package for the student loans. And you're probably wondering where the stimulus package is. Is it confirmed or whatever? Look, I don't trust Trump. He's been a liar since day one, in my opinion, because when 2 months ago, when this crisis started, he was getting warnings even from China, okay, even from Sri Lanka, various other countries, that the coronavirus was spreading, and to be careful and to put a travel ban and such in place and to put restrictions in place. He didn't listen. He said that everything was under control when everything wasn't. He said everything was under control when the outbreak was already happening and it was spreading so fast, it was beyond Trump's control. Like it was spreading so fast. So had he taken steps in the beginning, okay, to put those measures in place, we wouldn't even have an outbreak. I'm just saying, right? So anyway, going back to what I was telling you, you're probably wondering where the stimulus package is now. First, he says it's confirmed. Then they say they're still hashing it out in Congress. Then they're saying, oh, it's in limbo. They don't know where it's at. So, in my opinion, it hasn't been officiated yet, meaning it hasn't been signed paper to. They say Trump signed it, then they say they didn't. So, there hasn't been paper to pen, in my opinion. In my opinion, it hasn't been exactly rolled out. They're saying that they're sending out checks. They're saying that they're not. We'll see what happens. I mean, if you get a check in your mailbox, great. That means that, and if you qualify, that means that they have the stimulus package in place. So we'll see what happens. Supposedly, they're supposed to send out the first round of checks April 6th. And here's the thing. The checks aren't going to be just mailed. It's going to be sent out how you have situations set up. So in other words, if you receive your refunds with the IRS by direct deposit, then you'll see a direct deposit around April 6th or a few days after that, depending on how long it takes for your bank to release the funds. If you don't have direct deposit, you normally receive your refund check by mail, then they're saying you should have it in your mailbox in 7 to 10 days. That's what they're saying. Who knows if there's delays with the post office because people are getting sick. I don't know. That's why they're saying that direct deposit's the best way to go. Or if you have a debit card set up. So we'll see what happens with that. So all I can tell you is wash your hands, sanitize areas in your house. What I do, maybe this can help you out, is every time I use the toilet, I wipe before I use and after I use. I wipe my kitchen, whatever areas I contact as much as I possibly can. And wash the hands. Don't touch the face. Anybody that you come in contact with, do not shake their hands, do not hug them. If you're not being rude, you're just being protecting yourself and your family and stuff like that, okay? And you're protecting others in the sense that they don't get anything, God forbid you're infected. If you have a job, stay safe as much as possible. I know, keep going to work. I know you got to keep food on the table and you're wondering how you're going to not get sick in the process. Pray to God, depend on the Lord, and He will provide. So, I think I talked your ear off, but with that being said, I might consider a live stream, might not. Just leave me comments below. Let me know how this has affected you, what measures you're taking, because maybe what you're doing can help others. We're in a crisis, and we got to be safe. I have family in that live in a city, and the city's quarantined, and I can't see them. Like, I have my parents down there, so we've been talking over the phone, and that's about it, and Skyping and such. And I'm hoping for them. We all have families that are in quarantine areas that we can't get to. Now, they also say that China's got the situation under control, and so does Thailand. China had it under control, and Thailand too. They wouldn't still have a lockdown. I hope they do. That would be nice if they do. Maybe they can give other countries some notes on what measures to take. And the coronavirus test, they say that is a shortage. So Trump needs to move his behind and have everybody tested. They say that they're only saving a test for those that are exhibiting symptoms. Well, what about the ones that don't exhibit symptoms? Because from my understanding, the symptoms depends on you, depends on the chemistry of the body of the person. It can take up to 14 days to show up. Some it's 7, some it's 3. And, God knows how many people that person could have infected in that time frame if they didn't have any symptoms at all. So a person should be tested from jump. Because the symptoms don't have to be there in order to test positive for the coronavirus. Some people haven't shown symptoms at all until the 3, 7, or 14 days that it can happen, that the symptoms can rear its ugly head. So talk to your employer, tell them to have every employee tested. If you're still working in an essential line of business, tell them to test everybody regularly as a measure. That way, maybe that'll give you some comfort. And to do social distancing, don't sit with somebody else at lunch. You're not being rude, you're just being safe. Sit in your car, eat lunch there. Sit in your truck or whatever if you have a vehicle. Sit outside. The weather's getting warmer. So I know it's kind of cold in some areas, but it's still getting warmer gradually. Anyway, best of luck to everybody. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below.